I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nothing. Nelson Mandela said, "There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living." Now, I'm sure in your experiences in school and applying to college and picking your major and deciding what you want to do with life, I'm sure people have told you to make sure you have something to fall back on. Make sure you got something to fall back on. But I never understood that concept, having something to fall back on. If I'm going to fall, I don't want to fall back on anything except my faith. I want to fall forward. I figure at least this way I'll see what I'm going to hit. Fall forward. This is what I mean. Reggie Jackson struck out 2,600 times in his career, the most in the history of baseball. But you don't hear about the strikeouts. People remember the home runs. Fall forward. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Because the 1,001st was the light bulb. Fall forward. Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. You've got to take risks, and I'm sure you've probably heard that before, but I want to talk to you about why that's so important. I got 3 reasons, and you can pick up your iPhones. First, you will fail at some point in your life. Accept it. You will lose. You will embarrass yourself. You will suck at something. There's no doubt about it. And I know that's probably not a traditional message for a graduation ceremony, but hey, I'm telling you, embrace it, because it's inevitable. And I should know. In the acting business, you fail all the time. Early on in my career, I auditioned for a part in a Broadway musical. Perfect role for me, I thought, except for the fact that I can't sing. So I'm in the wings, I'm about to go on stage, but the guy in front of me, he's singing like Pavarotti. He's just going on and on and on. And I'm just shrinking, I'm getting smaller and smaller. So they say, "Oh, thank you very much, and then you'll be hearing from us." So I come out with my little sheet music, and it was Just My Imagination by The Temptations. That's what I came up with. So I hand it to the accompanist, and she looks at it and looks at me, and looks out at the director, and it's like, huh? So I start, I'm going to sing. I'm like, once again, and then coming away with me. And I'm not saying anything, so I'm thinking I'm getting better. So I have to start getting into it. Running. They say, "Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Washington. Thank you." So I assumed I didn't get the job. But the next part of the audition, he called me back. The next part of the audition is the acting part of the audition. So I'm like, hey, okay, maybe I can't sing, but I know I can act. So they pair me with this guy, and again, I didn't know about musical theater. And musical theater is big, so they can reach everyone all the way in the back of the stadium. And I'm more from a realistic, naturalistic kind of acting where you actually talk to the person next to you. So I don't know what my line was. My line was, "Well, hand me the cup." And his line was, "Well, I will hand you the cup, my dear. The cup will be there to be handed to you." I said, "Oh, okay." "Well, should I give you the cup back?" "Oh, yes, you should give it back to me, because that is my cup, and it should be given back to me." I didn't get the job. But here's the thing. I didn't quit. I didn't fall back. I walked out of there to prepare for the next audition, and the next audition, and the next audition. I prayed. I prayed, and I prayed. But I continued to fail and fail and fail. But it didn't matter because you know what? There's an old saying, you hang around the barbershop long enough, sooner or later you're going to get a haircut. So you will catch a break, and I did catch a break. Last year, I did a play called Fences on Broadway. So someone talked about it. Won the Tony Award. And I didn't have to sing, by the way. But here's the kicker. It was at the Court Theater. It was at the same theater that I failed that first audition 30 years prior. The point is, and I'll pick up the pace, the point is every graduate here today has the training and the talent to succeed. But do you have the guts to fail? Here's my second point about failure. If you don't fail, you're not even trying. I'll say it again. If you don't fail, you're not even trying. My wife told me this great expression. To get something you never had, you have to do something you never did. Les Brown's a motivational speaker. He made an analogy about this. He says, imagine you're on your deathbed, and standing around your deathbed are the ghosts representing your unfulfilled potential. The ghost of the ideas you never acted on. The ghost of the talents you didn't use. And they're standing around your bed, angry, disappointed, and upset. They say, we came to you because you could have brought us to life, they say. And now we have to go to the grave together. So I ask you today, how many ghosts are going to be around your bed when your time comes? You've invested a lot in your education, and people have invested in you. And let me tell you, the world needs your talents. Man, does it ever. I just got back from Africa like 2 days ago, so if I'm rambling on, it's because I'm jet lagged. I just got back from South Africa. It's a beautiful country, but there are places there with terrible poverty that need help. And Africa is just the tip of the iceberg. The Middle East needs your help. Japan needs your help. Alabama needs your help. Tennessee needs your help. Louisiana needs your help. Philadelphia needs your help. The world needs a lot, and we need it from you. We really do. We need it from you young people. I mean, I'm not speaking for the rest of us up here, but I know I'm getting a little grayer. We need it from you, the young people. Let's remember this. So you got to get out there. You got to give it everything you got, whether it's your time, your talent, your prayers, or your treasures. Because remember this, you will never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. I'll say it again. You will never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. You can't take it with you. The Egyptians tried it, and all they got was robbed. So the question is, what are you going to do with what you have? I'm not talking about how much you have. Some of you are business majors. Some of you are theologians, nurses, sociologists. Some of you have money. Some of you have patience. Some of you have kindness. Some of you have love. Some of you have the gift of long suffering, whatever it is, whatever your gift is. What are you going to do with what you have? All right, now here's my last point about failure. Sometimes it's the best way to figure out where you're going. Your life will never be a straight path. I began at Fordham University as a pre-med student. I took a course called cardiac, I still can't say it, cardiac morphogenesis. I couldn't read it, I couldn't say it, I sure couldn't pass it. So then I decided to go into pre-law, then journalism. And with no academic focus, my grades took off in their own direction. Yeah, down. I was a 1.8 GPA one semester, and the university very politely suggested that it might be better to take some time off. I was 20 years old. I was at my lowest point. And then one day, and I remember the exact day, March 27th, 1975, I was helping my mother in a beauty shop. My mother owned a beauty shop up in Mount Vernon. And there was this older woman who was considered one of the elders in the town. And I didn't know her personally, but I was looking in the mirror, and every time I looked through the mirror, I could see her behind me, and she was staring at me. She just kept looking at me. Every time I looked at her, she kept giving me these strange looks. So she finally took the dryer off her head and she said something I'll never forget. First of all, she said, "Somebody give me a piece of paper. Give me a piece of paper." She said, "Young boy, I have a prophecy, a spiritual prophecy." She said, "You are going to travel the world and speak to millions of people." Now, mind you, I'm 20 years old, I'm flunked out of school. In fact, like a wise ass, I'm thinking to myself, maybe she's got something in that crystal ball about me getting back into school next fall. But maybe she was on to something, because later that summer, while working as a counselor at the YMCA camp in Connecticut, we put on a talent show for the campus. And after the show, another counselor came up to me and asked, "Have you ever thought about acting? You're good at that." So when I got back to Fordham that fall, I got in and I changed my major once again for the last time. And in the years that followed, just as that woman prophesied, I have traveled the world and I have spoken to millions of people through my movies. Millions who up till this day couldn't see me, who up till this day I couldn't see while I was talking to them, and they couldn't see me, they could only see the movie. They couldn't see the real me. But I see youth today, and I'm encouraged by what I see. And I'm strengthened by what I see. And I love what I see. One more page, and I'll shut up. Let me conclude with this one final point, and actually the president kind of brought it up. It has to do with the movie Philadelphia. She stole my material. Many years ago, I did this movie called Philadelphia. We filmed some of the scenes right here on campus. Philadelphia came out in 1993. Most of you were probably still in diapers. Some of the professors too. That cracked me up. But it was a good movie. Rent it on Netflix. It's a good movie. Rent it. I get 23 cents every time you rent it, please. Parents up there, rent it. Netflix. Tell your friends too. It's about a man played by Tom Hanks who's fired from his law firm because he has AIDS. He wants to sue the firm, but no one's willing to represent him until a homophobic ambulance chaser lawyer, played by yours truly, takes on the case. In a way, if you watch the movie, you'll see everything I'm talking about today. You'll see what I mean about taking risks or being willing to fail. Because taking risk is not just about going for a job. It's also about knowing what you know and what you don't know. It's about being open to people and to ideas. In the course of the film, the character I played begins to take small steps, small risks. He very, very, very slowly begins to overcome his fears. And I feel ultimately his heart becomes flooded with love. And I can't think of a better message as we send you off today. To not only take risks, but to be open to life, to accept new views, and to be open to new opinions, to be willing to speak at a commencement at one of the best universities in the country, even though you're scared stiff. While it may be frightening, it will also be rewarding. Because the chances you take, the people you meet, the people you love, the faith that you have, that's what's going to define you. So members of the class of 2011, this is your mission. When you leave the friendly confines of Philly, never be discouraged, never hold back, give everything you got. And when you fall throughout life, and maybe even tonight after a few many glasses of champagne, remember this: fall forward. Congratulations. I love you. God bless you. I respect you.
All right. Thoughts, feedback. This is one of my favorite just topics.
If you don't fail, you're not trying. That punches you in the face.
For sure. So if you're not failing, you're not trying, for sure. Right? Other things to step.
I just showed up a little bit late, but in accordance with that, you really don't fail until you quit. That's just for me and last SC once.
I like to have something you've never had. You have to do something you've never done.
To fall forward.
Yeah. Too many people, like, they don't take a step forward. They don't try because they're scared of things not going well, versus taking that step forward and doing like, hey, I'm going to give it my best shot, you know, and even if it didn't go exactly how you wanted, you did it while going out and actually taking a step versus being hesitant about making the step. And that makes a world of a difference in you actually going out and achieving things, you know, when you are taking those steps. Anybody else? Any other things that stood out to you guys?
During the speech, kind of just put himself out there. You know, I said things that you knew he was scared to come up and give the speech. But then it's like sharing your goals, sharing who you are with customers.
Sure. By the way, we have seats up here we want to fill up. So if you guys can scooch in or scoot up, I want everyone scooted up when Andy gets on. So we have all seats full here. So yeah, there's a seat right here in the front row. If you want to grab that, there's two right there. Move it all in. You guys can scooch down. Go ahead, Jacob.
You'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse.
Yeah.
That was really good.
It's true. Can't take it with you.
Why you wouldn't do it what you have? Like, you can make something positive.
Second row over here. All right, what are you going to do with what you have? Absolutely. And we've all been given so much to work with, you know, just being in this room again, you guys have, you know, certain skill sets, capabilities. You wouldn't be in this room if your manager didn't feel that you could be a top performer. This meeting was arranged, and when I talked to the managers, to invite and have people here that we felt could really lead the charge as a division, that could lead the way for GCK as we go after #1 national. Well, our goal is to be #1 in the nation for the playoff, for the Super Bowl. For the playoffs, we ended up #2. And I really know that we have the people, and it's really making sure, again, we're younger, it's a younger group of people. We don't have the experience in years that the other divisions have, seeing that this is our first full year as a division, and I started last April, so we've been together a little over a year, and some of you guys, this is your first summer, but we have a great foundation, you know, and what's possible, and I think about in these next 2.5 weeks of, you know, transformation, I really want to make sure that, you know, make sure Andy has, so I want to make sure that you guys are, you know, set up to go out and really make something happen for yourselves that you didn't know was possible. You know, whatever your goal is, like you coming into this event, and after Andy speaks, we're going to break down goals. We're going to get stuff organized, you know, just make sure we're setting you guys up ready to kick some butt. But, you know, you came in here, maybe some of you guys came in here thinking, maybe I'll be on the 6K, because I extended and told the managers, hey, if you have someone that maybe they can't commit to the 10K Alliance, but there's someone who's committed for the 6K Alliance, you know, or they're like, hey, I want to help for the charge, I want to go at it. But, you know, I hope that after Andy speaks, that you know, you're thinking bigger about what's possible for you, but really thinking about what's a goal that scares you. You know, like if you're comfortable with whatever number you're thinking, some of you guys are thinking 10K, 15K, 20K, and you're comfortable with that number because a third of this room, you've already done that. You've already sold $10,000 in 2 weeks or less. That's not really a huge stretching yourself. You're like, yeah, I can do that. I can sell $10,000 in 2.5 weeks. You know, like I did that in a week and a half, you know, or a week or in 5 days. You know, you did that in 5 days. So what is it that's a little bit scary? You know, what makes your stomach turn a little bit where you're like, you know, is it that, you know, regional number? Is it that, you know, national number? You know, what is it that just scares you a little bit? and really get excited about that. You know, I think about being able to, let me make sure, so we're getting Andy on here, being able to stretch yourself. And if you're doing something that you've already done, that's not stretching yourself. You know, and you have to go after goals that scare you. Like, it makes me want to throw up a little bit, you know, when I think about her, I'm like, oh my gosh, like a $200,000 sales week scares the crap out of me. But I've never done it, and I want to do it. And that's our goal 3 weeks from now. Not this week, not next week, but the following week, $200,000 week. And that week, by the way, we're going for everyone having their biggest week of their career. And we've got to build momentum to it. It doesn't just happen. And I know that, I'm aware of that. So I'm like, all right, what do we need to do, you know, to get this done? And making sure that we're set up properly, that we're set up for success to do that. And so, okay, there's the action steps we need to take this week. You know, you heard Rob, those who were here earlier, you know, it was so funny. I just kind of laughed to myself because, I mean, it's been so long. And I just asked him that randomly, you know. He was like, you know, he said, you probably won't like this, but what did he say? Get your freaking fundamentals down. Those who've been around me, how many times have I said that? You know, I had someone during the break say, you know, I'm just not getting rocks. Ask me for rocks. You don't have your freaking stuff down. You know, like, there's 3 bullets with recommendations. And yes, I'm going to show you guys if you haven't set up a recommendation binder. I have binders here. If you want to buy it for $5, you can buy it here. A 1-inch binder for $5. At Office Depot, it's $8 for a 1/2-inch binder. Cool. I bought them at bulk at Costco, so they're cheaper. So if you need to buy a binder, buy a freaking binder. But I'm going to show you guys how to set up a binder, how to set up your book, so you can share your goals properly and ask for what you want and maximize the amount of recommendations. And what I know, and I've done this for years, is that if you follow that, you will get recommendations unless you sabotage it. The only reason you won't get it is they don't like you or you don't ask the right way. It's the only reason you don't get recommendations. So you need to know your approach. You need to be confident asking for it. Some of you guys, your demeanor completely changes when you go to ask for X. And you're like so awkward. And I think you're awkward when you're asking me for it. And I'm just like, you know, like, and that's a totally different, you know, energy that you had than when you were talking to Ms. Jones throughout your demo. And I've seen that because I've skills checked so many people through the years. And I'm like, what are you doing? You totally changed. And we don't, you know, we don't want to do that. So I'm going to show you guys how to set that up to make sure that you're set up for success. All right. And we're going to give you guys a tool. So Andy, who, you know, for those who haven't met Andy, Andy is somebody who, I'm making sure he was getting out of a demo right now. So he's supposed to be on in 4 minutes. So I want to make sure we're ready to go. I know he just had my wrong Skype. So we'll get him on here. But Andy Janti, you know, besides being one of the best reps of all time, you know, is one of the best push performers. And I'll give you guys, you know, stats. He's setting up at Starbucks right now during the middle of his momentum week and push, you know, and getting things rolling this week to make sure that he was set up. And I really want to make sure we give him full attention as we go through here, whether you're someone in this room who's already at $100,000, $200,000 or more in sales, or you're somebody who's at $1,000 or $2,000 in sales. There's a lot you can take from here, and just his mentality. He's helped coach so many of our best reps in Miami, and I built a dynasty alongside him. And so I'll wait a second to talk about him when he gets here, but he's going to walk through, you know, why push periods, how to prepare, how to set stuff up. He's going to give some tips that have helped him and all the people that he's coached through the years. Afterwards, I'm going to set you guys up, you know, set up your books, give you guys a schedule. We're going to walk through the schedule for success. We're going to break down your numbers and make sure that you have a plan. Cool? So first, it's like, why? What are you excited about? He's going to be sharing different things and you figuring out, you know, why do you want to push? And that's something that we're going to be writing down on your guys' sheet. So we made these here, and you can decorate it. You can make your own. Cool? I just wanted to give you guys something to have. So this says here, why I'm excited for my goal, and writing down, like, I want to stand out, advancement, you know, competition, resume, whatever it is, getting into the Leadership Academy, you know, sharing that with customers and saying, hey, they have a program where I can actually do a management internship. I can do an entrepreneurship internship. My goal is to have my own practice, you know, as a surgeon one day, or my goal is to one day have my own law practice, or I want to work for X, Y, and Z engineering firm or X, Y, and Z oil and gas company, and I want to stand out, and I want to be able to lead groups of people. I want to be able to present ideas. I want to be great managing people, as well as be able to work with my superiors. in a certain way and really be able to partner up with them. I want to like, what is it? And so thinking about, what's your dream job? And that's something you guys really need to think about, because you go into the push, that's one of the most powerful and moving things for your customers. So think to yourself, what's your dream job? So think about that right now. And what are the characteristics that you need to have in order for you to be uber successful in your dream job and whatever you're doing? What is it? And for some of you guys, it's a certain level of patience, compassion, connecting with people, being able to build relationships and have people trust you, right? That's my best friend, Lisa Porter. She was a youth minister for a long time, actually why I'm in Houston. She worked at Houston Christian and worked as the female chaplain there. And so a lot of the stuff that she got in Cutco, and she broke records. She set the fast start record for the Eastern region when she started in 5 days, sold over $15,000. Back in 2003. She was a top All-American, top performer. She never wanted to do Cutco for like a year now. She's like, no, I don't do that, And then she needed money for a mission trip in Russia. And I was like, dude, just check it out. I said, just come to the interview. I said, give it a week. If you hate it, get another job. But if you can work for a week, I can help you make at least $1,000, if not $2,000 or $3,000. She made $3,500 in 5 days, by the way. And I told her, I said, look, it's about just having fun and connecting with people and letting them know why you're doing it. And for her, she was like, I want to go to Russia for this mission trip. I want to do this, and sharing that with customers and saying, long term, like I love working with youth. I love working in ministry, whether I have friends who have like different nonprofits, people that do mission work, leading groups of people. But this is a really great job helping me interact with a lot of different types of personalities, really getting good at organizing groups, right? So when I organize mission trips or whatever, but like just being organized, being disciplined, being someone that is personable, being someone that people can trust. Something she always talks to, like I have to talk to these parents and be like, hey, I'm going to take your kid to like across the world, to this country. And it's a little bit dangerous, but we're going to serve, and, and then feeling comfortable, with her leadership, her team. And it's just, from that end to obviously people that run businesses, people that work in sales, some of my guys who work in pharmaceutical sales, people that have their own practices now and are utilizing this stuff day to day, being able to share with them, what this can do for you. Like by going out and selling blank amount, like it's pushing me beyond my comfort zone. It's showing me I'm capable of more, and so part of it, Miss Jones, is just, it scares me to go after a number like this. It totally scares me, but I really want to be able to always challenge myself and push myself to the next level, so that I can be a better daughter, husband, wife, sister, parent, whatever it is. I want to be able to constantly be improving, constantly be growing, and that's something that I'm really stoked about. Brian was sharing with me during the break. He was reading, Brian Tracy is one of my favorite authors. One of my favorite books of his is Maximum Achievement. If you haven't read it, it's phenomenal. What book are you reading right now? Cool. Change your thinking, change your life. And a lot of this, and you keep hearing it's mindset, but it is. Our minds are so crazy powerful. And he was sharing, he was reading that on the way down. And what are things that I know it's funny because we're talking about like failure and stuff, and he was sharing a quote with me. But just overall, what have you been gathering from that for you, Brian?
That I'm going to fail more than I'm going to succeed, and I have to get over it. So.
Yeah. And it was just like,
the quote just said that if you want to succeed, you have to double your failure rate. And so that sounds kind of scary going into it, knowing that instead of to succeed, you need to double your success. You have to understand that you got to double your failure. Because with that, success doesn't come about until you're on the far side of failure.
And again, it's all part of it's the growth process. It's the strengthening process. It's those things that you can look at, failure or things like that, but it's actually things that are strengthening you, things that are making you stronger, things that need to happen in order for you to be ready to accomplish those big goals that you have for yourself. And I've said this, and you're going to hear me say this a gazillion times, but if it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was easy to make blank amount of dollars, everybody would be making it. If it was easy to own X, Y, and Z companies, everybody would own them. Everybody would do it, but it's not. And it takes a certain level of mental toughness, focus, tenacity, skill sets, and it's being persistent and resilient. And not everyone has that. And they're like, that's hard. So then they do what's easy and they work for everybody else, okay? And why I do this job 14 years later and why I'm here in this room right now, today, is helping develop and, again, scouting out who are our guys? Who are our guys who really want to step up and do something bigger, you know, do something bigger for themselves and really open doors? Because to me, this is the group, the guys who are here, like in this room right now. And I know there's some other people that have orientation and had stuff. And I know I've gotten some emails and messages from people that couldn't be here, that'll be here this Monday. But, you know, this says a lot to me. And when I go around going on tour and doing the interviews for GCLA, like I want to have people who are excited about growth, who are excited about being the best version of themselves, who are excited about really becoming mentally stronger and opening more doors and opportunities for themselves. Because that's what I love doing. Like I'm a skills for life coach. That's what I do. Happen to do it through selling some kick-ass knives. But I teach skills for life and stuff that you will be using 10, 20, 30 years later. And I know that by those of you guys going through this process, you will succeed at higher levels. You will accomplish more. That's just what we do here, all right? So know that. So just be thinking about, you know, why are you excited for this? Why are you excited for this goal? You know, what could this push do for you? And so as Andy, you know, shares things, you know, just be thinking to yourself, you know, how can this be a game changer for you? You know, like what can these next 2.5 weeks do? So Andy, you have to hit for you. You know, like can you hear me? Andy, we can't.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Oh, there you are. Beautiful. Let me put you on the screen. Oh, it's so good to see your face always. So Andy Janti, for those of you that don't know, is one of my best friends in the world. He's really more of a brother than anything. So he is my Haitian brother. And I love him with all of my heart. So Andy and I Andy started fall of 2001. I started May of 2002. We both had our first summer in sales together that summer. We went on to run branches the next summer. We did our entrepreneurship internships. For him, he had just graduated from Florida International University. And for me, I was going into my senior year of college. But Andy, we can all see you untying your, I was watching you on the big screen. There you go.
I'm sorry.
But Andy and I went through Leadership Academy together, learned so much, ran our branches, did our entrepreneurship internships. He went on to do stuff in his major and utilize the skills that he had with Cutco. I graduated and went on to become a district manager, and we were always really close friends. And he kind of sold Cutco on the side, and it was cool. Like he had so much repeat business. He built such great relationships with people. He was selling a craft that he can share with you, but he came back to Cutco full time a couple years later and just started crushing it. And he's one of the best reps in company history, all-time history, and has sold. I think next milestone's like 2.5 million that we're going for. Is that the next big one?
I'm at 2.55 already.
Oh, just kidding. I've been gone for a year. I missed it. Next is 3 mil. So over 2.5 million dollars in Cutco sold. And anyone who knows Andy, what I love about Andy is just like his passion, his energy, like his love for people and giving back. He's vice president of Angel Wings International, which will share a couple things. We've been building the hospital. I know many of you guys have gotten connected with that. And we're going for a big fundraiser through the push. I know Francisco Herrera, who had a chance to go with us, will be sharing at the division meeting on Monday. But I wanted to give him the floor. And again, I appreciate he's in the middle of doing demos, parked in his car to get back to us. So if we can be super attentive, give him our energy. The floor is all yours, Mr. Janti.
All right. Well, I really missed hearing you introduce me. You didn't come back to Florida. I'm just saying. You guys are so lucky to have her. So enjoy it. It's really cool. Obviously, we've been partnering in this business for 14 years. So I've heard you introduce me so many times, and this time it's through Skype. So, well, I want to get started with a couple of things. I think that from the bottom of my heart, right here from Miami, Florida, I want to thank everyone who is about to embark on this journey, but that may decide to pledge some of the income that they make or donation for Angel Wings. I'm sure Kathy will probably talk about this more, or you may have heard about it. We're building a medical clinic in Haiti. It's been 6 years, and the clinic is up. It's I have a picture here, but not sure if you guys are going to be able to see it. We're going to try it. So that's the picture of the clinic itself without anything. We're currently running medical clinics. We've treated over 3,000 people already just this year, and the clinic is not even fully functional. So our president's been going down on mission trips. So she also works here in Florida full time. So everybody that's involved in the project lives in the US, but we're still doing this project down there and just being able to treat all these people. She saved somebody's life recently that was burnt, and I don't even want to share the pictures because it was completely gruesome, but so awesome that she was able to save that person's life with her team. So I'm grateful for that. If you don't know enough about Angel Wings, you probably want to. You probably want to share that with your customers. I think that it's something that shows my customers that I'm human. I'm not just a nice salesman. And even though you guys are not maybe building it yourself, or the vice president of it, or a super volunteer VIP like Kathy, but you are part of a company where the top people are doing it. So being able to share that with your customers will show them a different side of Cutco than just selling knives. So I just want to thank you guys for all of that. You can always YouTube and check out some of the videos of like amazing thing that we're doing through that. So as I pull up my notes here, my focus really today is really about the push. I will tell you guys one thing.
Hey.